The clothes we wear, the phones we use, the cars we drive, in large part, they are made by China's young migrant population. Hundreds of millions of young Chinese people who've moved from the countryside to the city to create their own path. They're also transforming China. 30 years ago, China was a relatively poor country. Today, it's the world's second largest economy. But today's young migrant workers, those born after 1990, they don't want to work 100 hours a week. They don't want to work every day of the week. They don't want to be treated without respect. They don't want to be shouted at by their managers. Today's migrant workers want to create lives in the city. They want leisure time. They want to improve themselves. They want to learn new skills. I work for a corporate social responsibility consultancy, and a large part of my job is working with the companies and the brands that buy from China's factories and helping to improve their social and environmental impacts. Years ago, being a migrant worker was about earning all the money you could to send it back to your village to lift your parents and yourselves out of poverty so you didn't fear hunger again. But today's migrant worker is different. They're like you, they're like me. They use social media, they watch films, they eat in restaurants. They want to make lives in the city. So what do they want? Migrant workers want leisure time. They want time to spend the money they earn. They want to go to restaurants. They want to go to karaoke. Migrant workers want to make networks of friends to support them in the tough lives in the city. They also want to find love. They want to get married, they want to make a family, and they want that family to be in the city. Migrant workers want respect from their supervisors and managers. They also want to train. They want to learn the new skills that will help them climb the ladder, become the people they want to be. Now, why does this matter? It matters for 3 reasons. It's morally wrong to treat workers badly. If you knew a family who had a cleaning lady that they made work 100 hours a week, you knew they shouted at that lady, and you knew they didn't pay her properly, would you be friends with that family? It's not good for business. Factories where people are unhappy are not productive, they're not efficient, they don't make good products. And finally, it's bad for China. China is becoming a developed economy. It's moving away from the old low-value, poor manufacturing of the past. I want to tell you about Zhang Bobo. Zhang Bobo is from Yichang, on the banks of the Yangtze in Hubei province. His parents are cotton farmers with a side business in selling fertilizer. He grew up not poor but not wealthy, relatively comfortable. He's a smart guy, practical guy, but he wasn't suited to China's rigid educational system, and he dropped out age 17. He did a couple of jobs in Yichang, but he wasn't satisfied, and he decided to go out and establish his place in society by finding factory work. He moved down to Shenzhen, where China's economic transformation began over 30 years ago, and there straight away he found work in a textile factory. This factory made its workers work very hard indeed. 100 hours a week, 1, maybe 2 rest days a month, didn't pay overtime properly, didn't pay social insurance for health properly, and it made low-quality products. The companies who bought from this factory wanted cheap product, and they didn't care at all about the workers who worked there. Now, Zhang Bobo, he lasted 9 months there, which is a lot longer than a lot of people who worked there. In fact, this factory had a turnover of 220% a year. So, what did Zhang Bobo do? Well, he went back to Yichang at Chinese New Year. He thought about his life. He decided he still wanted to make his own path, to establish himself in society. So, he moved to Ningbo, just down the road from Shanghai. And here, he thought a bit more carefully about his work. He spent a couple of weeks talking to different workers, looking at factories, and eventually, he found a factory he liked. This factory is run by a lady who has an MBA from a Shanghai university, and she has a modern human resources management system. It means that workers don't have to work really long hours. It means they do have rest days every month. It means there is a career progression plan and training at this factory. And the customers and the brands who buy from this factory, they want high quality product at a good price, and they want to make sure the workers who work there are cared for. This factory is much more profitable than the Shenzhen factory, where they don't pay their workers very well. Now, why should we care about this? Because this factory only has 15% worker turnover. People stay there. Zhang Bobo is still working there today. He's risen to a supervisor. He's done lots of courses, technical courses, some of them subsidized on his work. He's got a family, he's married, he lives in a modest apartment with his wife, who also works in a factory down the road. And next year, they'll buy an apartment in Ningbo. Now, it matters for you because every time you buy a product, it's a small vote. It's a small vote for that company, for that brand, for the activities, for the policies, for the projects they have to make sure the workers, the young migrant workers in their supply chains, at their factories, are looked after and are fulfilling their lives. How do you actually go about making a difference? There are 3 ways. You can choose the right brands, and it's easy to find out which ones are better than others. Read the news. Look at company websites. They all have corporate social responsibility reports. Listen to what charities and NGOs say about companies. Start conversations with those companies and brands. You can do it easily through social media, through emailing companies. I've helped brands answer customer questions about worker welfare, and I can tell you they take it very seriously when customers ask. And thirdly, talk about it with people. Make this a topic of conversation. That way, everyone will start asking brands about how the workers are treated in their factories. And if you do those things, you'll help workers create their own path, and you'll help China create their own path. Thank you.